All right. Look like we have some people hopping on. Good deal, good deal, good deal. Today, guys, on questions asked, the question at the top of the key is I keep hearing about a BPO score. What is that? What is the BPO score? Do I need that to be able to get work with the BPO companies? For those of you who don't know me, I am Angela Cooper. I am a business coach and I help real estate agents increase their income while waiting on buyers and sellers to close and or while building their pipeline. On Facebook, guys, we come here every week. If you are new to the Facebook page, go ahead and like the page. If you are joining us, guys, here from YouTube, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Either way, guys, make sure you turn your notification buttons on so that you can get notified every time I go live. I do go live on YouTube every couple of weeks, but I'm live right here on Facebook every single Sunday evening. Okay? The first question is I keep hearing about this score, this BPO score. What is that? The BPO score, guys, is something that you're going to establish once you have worked for 30 days or more with an asset management company, a broker price opinion company, an asset valuation company, whatever they choose to call themselves. You know, they have a whole lot of different names, okay? But once you have worked with them for like 30, 60, or 90 days, sometimes they do it every 60 days. But based on your performance, they're going to give you a score, a rating, okay, on how well you're completing your work. How many quality control issues bounce back? Like they'll say, please correct this issue before we submit it to the client. That tends to make your score go down. Also, if you're late turning in your report, that is going to have a negative effect on your score. So the gist of the score is to try to have a perfect score of 100, but you can certainly do a 97, 98, 99, and still be in the pool of being first to get the work orders when they send work out. Okay? So that's the importance of having a score. You don't have to have a score before you start doing BPO work, but you do certainly want to establish a score after you start doing BPO work so that you can be first in line to take the orders. You know, a lot of people talk about it's so hard to get the orders. Every time they pop up, they're gone. Okay. You want to, for sure, be able to establish a 95 and above on your monthly scorecard so that you can be first in line for them accepting you as a preferred vendor. Okay? Because once you become a preferred vendor, they're going to be pushing work to you without asking, basically. That's what they do. And that's why it's so important that you have a good score. They want to know that they can rely on you to do the work if they just auto push it, auto accept. Everybody last week wanted to know about the auto acceptor. You don't have to be on an auto acceptor if you're a preferred vendor. They automatically put you on an auto acceptor. Okay. Question number two is, can I use comps that are all superior to my subject? Will the quality control advisor, if that's what you want to call them, will they accept me creating a fair market value with all my sold comps being superior to my subject? Are they going to accept a fair market value like that? So here's the deal. You have three list comps, three sold comps. They want at least one of your list comps and one of your sold comps to be equal or more similar to your subject. Okay? Can you establish a fair market value if all your comps are superior? Yes, you can. However, you better have some adjustments in there, okay? You cannot just send it through without having some condition adjustments, okay? Because they're going to want to know if this is superior, well, what kind of adjustments are you going to make? That means that you're going to have to make some negative adjustments on the superior comps, okay? You can do it if that's absolutely all that you have out there. But make sure that you don't have any comps out there that are equal or similar to your subject because that is really what they're looking for. Okay. But I'm not saying that it cannot be done. If that's all you have out there is superior comps, use those superior comps, but make adjustments wherever you need to. Hopefully it's not a location adjustment, but if it is, you got to do your due diligence. You just can't send it in and say, well, all of these comps are superior and this is the fair market value. Can't do that. Okay. But you can if you do the right and proper adjustments. Okay, they don't like to see it, but we don't always have what it is that they like, right? So sometimes we have to give them what we have. Okay. All right, so guys, before I go to question number 3, I want to thank everyone that's here. If you have any questions while we are live, you can drop your questions in the comment area, and I can answer your questions while I'm here live. But also, if you're new to the Facebook page, go ahead and like the page. If you're on YouTube, smash that subscribe button, guys. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Drop a 1 in the comment area, guys, if you are new to real estate or new to broker price opinions. If you haven't already received the free webinar on BPOs, I have that for you for the new people. I just like to know who's new and who's not, okay, so that I can kind of point you in the direction to go. And if you're visiting here after the fact, guys, go ahead and hashtag replay so that we know you have been here. Jaime has a question. He says superior, equal, and inferior is best, right? Yes and no. More so equal and superior, or equal and inferior, or equal, superior, inferior. You see, you always want to have an equal. They don't really care so much. They're not real picky about having all three. Okay, if you do have all three, that's kind of like the perfect storm. But is that a requirement? No, it's not a requirement, but it is best. Yeah, I guess you could say that it would be best. Okay, don't give an inferior comp if the inferior comp is a REO. Okay, if they're looking for a fair market value and you want to just show that you have a comp that's inferior, if it's a foreclosure or REO, don't do that. Don't give that. They don't want that. Okay, I would rather see you give 2 that's equal and 1 superior, or 2 that's superior and 1 equal, rather than to give a REO comp that is not what they're looking for. Okay, that's kind of how you can decide that, Jaime. All right, so on question number 3, area. What is the area? What is the definition of area? In this case, the person was asking me to define the market area, okay? Not the area for the square feet, because y'all know what that is. That's total area for the subject, not that. Okay, so they want to know, how do you determine the market area? Okay, so is it just confined to the subdivision, or is it, what is it? Okay, is it a mile out? Is it 2 miles out? It just depends on how difficult it is to find a comp. If you can find 3 comps in the subdivision, that's your market area. But if you can't and you have to go two subdivisions out or you have to go a 1 mile radius, that becomes your market area. Okay? What in case you can't find a comp that is within a 1 mile radius? It's suburban and you have to go out 2 miles. So you found one that was 1 mile, one that was one and a half, one is one and an eighth of a mile. That becomes your market area. Okay, that is your area that they're talking about. They're speaking of. So when they start asking you how many list comps and how many sold comps, what's the range in that area? That's the area they're speaking of. What you create the area. How about that? Okay, that might be a better way of putting it. You create the area based on how far out you have to go to get your comps. Either whether it's list or whether it's sold, it doesn't matter. You might have three sold comps that are within the same subdivision, but you can't find any list comps. You might only have one list comp in the subdivision, and then your other two list comps, you had to go out a whole mile just to find those two list comps. Now the 1 mile radius, okay, becomes your market area. You can literally use your range, your price range for your sold comps can be the same market area as your price range for your list comps, if that makes sense. So if you had to go two subdivisions out or 2 miles out to find list comps, that whole entire 2 miles now become your market area. So when you give a range for your sold comps, even though all three of your comps are within that subdivision, it might be 200 to 250, but within the 2 miles, it goes out to 290. They want the 290 and they want the seven sold comps within that 2 mile radius. You see? So you're not just confining yourself to the subdivision. To answer that question, you create the market area. That's the best way I can sum that up, okay? Based on how far out you have to go for your comps. And if you're in a rural area and you're looking for rural comps and you have to go out 10 miles, that's your market area. That creates the area. You can't say that your market area is 5 miles in if you don't have enough comps in them within that 5 mile range. You just can't do that. You have to use the market area becomes your entire range of list and sold comps together. Okay? I hope that makes sense. All right. Question number 4. I don't understand many of the questions on the form. Where do I find the answers to those questions? Like, for example, they might be saying what percentage of the subdivision is rented out, what percentage of the subdivision is commercial, you know, all of these type of questions. Where do you find the answers? What percentage of the subdivision is REO properties? You have to know your area, okay? And you might, I'm not saying that you have to, but you might need to get some broker price opinion training. Do you have to take BPO mastery? No. There's a lot of BPO courses out there, okay? But in this particular group, I'm going to market my own course. I'm not going to market anyone else's course. But I would be willing to bet if you had some proper training, you would know how to answer those questions. If you hit the submit button and you have 56 questions that are unanswered, okay, you probably need or want, okay, you probably want to get some broker price opinion training. Some people have asked me, you know, what is my thought process on the difference in BPO mastery and the BPO NAP BOP, National Association of Broker Price Opinion Professionals. What's the difference in those two? Because you could get certified when you take that course. You could get certified when you take BPO mastery. The difference is that course is more written by book, if you will, and mine is from life experience, hands on. I'm telling you what these asset management companies want answers to. You probably not gonna get word for word play if you take that course. But in BPO mastery, you're gonna get hands on experience. That is more like a textbook on how to do broker price opinions. You see? I don't know. Does that make sense? So, yeah, where do you get the answers to the 56 questions that are unanswered when you hit submit? Some of them are going to be in the tax records. Some of them are going to be in the MLS. Some of them, and many of them, are going to be on what you know about your area. Okay? It'll be easier for Jaime to do a BPO on California, if he's in California, I think he is, than if I'm in Houston and I'm looking in a California MLS trying to complete a BPO order, just say hypothetically for somebody, and I don't really know that area. But Jaime lives in that area, so he know everything around it and everything. He know how much of the area is rented versus how much of it is owned by the homeowners, you know? And so he'll be more able to answer that because he knows that area. You can certainly try to do a whole bunch of searching in the tax record and, you know, doing a bunch of formulas in the MLS to kind of figure out, you know, what percentage of this area is commercial, if you like. But if I'm in an area, like in my area, let's talk about my area now. In my subdivision, it's totally fair, you know, it's totally residential properties, okay? The next subdivision, all four corners of my subdivision is residential properties. But way over there in that corner, it's townhomes, okay? And it's a 55 and older community. But if you don't live in this area, you're probably not going to know that that community has townhomes in it, inside it, okay? And it's on a golf course and things of that nature. You're probably not going to know that unless you're looking at a bird's eye view of that subdivision, okay? And then up at the front, you got the main strip, okay? You got commercial all up and down there. So if I'm going out more than a mile, if I'm having to go out 2 miles, I could very well cross over commercial properties. So now I got to remember, well, what percentage of this crossover is commercial and what percentage is residential? I'm not going to go and do a whole bunch of, you know, mathematical formulas looking at, okay, well, I'm looking at the tax record, then I'm looking at the MLS. No, I'm going to go off of the top of my head and say, well, about 5% of this area within this 2 mile radius is a commercial or industrial, you know, area. Simple, okay? But how will you know that if you don't have, you know, broker price opinion training? I don't know. You know, I'm not trying to be. I'm not here to market a course or anything. But me, before I even created the BPO course, I took, you know, National Association for Broker Price Opinion Professionals. I took that course. Okay, it didn't help me with live situations. No, it didn't. It didn't tell me what to say to somebody if I'm doing an interior, if I'm doing a mortgage insurance termination. It didn't tell me that. You know, it showed me what types of 900 different types of roofs, but how many roofs out here are going to be more? You're only going to have 3 or 4 different types of roofs. And if you're dealing with one subdivision, you're only going to have one. So, you know, do you really need to know a lot of that stuff? You know, some of it you do and some of it you don't. You really more so need live coaching and understanding of what it is, hands-on understanding of what you're doing. Okay? Because one thing I know for sure, when you get a BPO, they're only going to give you 48 hours to 72 hours to finish it. If that's enough time for you to take, figure all of that stuff out, that's why it's taking people 4 and 5 hours to finish BPOs because they haven't taken enough training to know how to answer those questions. If you had the training, you could answer those questions right off the top of your head. I've had people in BPO Mastery that's only been in there for less than a month, and they're getting 100% on their scorecards. Okay, they, I'll say less than 90 days, but they already had the gist of how to answer those questions within their 30 days. Why? Because every module is built on each section of the BPO form. That's how the course is written based on what's on those forms. Okay? BPO National NAP BOP is not built like that. It's not built to tell you what's on those forms. That's not how it's built. Okay? So that's the difference. Yes, you need to know where to find all of that information. If you hit that submit button and you have 37 questions that are not answered, you know, you got to do your research. And I promise you, you could stay on those 37 questions for about 3 hours when I can literally answer them for you in less than 5 minutes. That's the difference in coaching and training and not having any coaching or training at all. Okay? All right. And honestly, I do have some students that, will trust me to go into their platforms and answer questions for them. If I go into your platform, I'm not coming out with just the answer that you asked me for. I'm pretty much going to make you a video and explain to you how to get it done. So you'll have more information than really what you asked me for. Okay? And so that's how you get all of those questions answered. I don't understand, many of the questions. You don't understand them because you haven't had the training. A lot of people want to just wing it. I don't have a problem with you just winging it. But don't be mad because you stay on a BPO for 4 hours because you don't know how to answer the questions. The people that take training, they know how to answer the question. It's just like being a doctor. If you're going to be a heart surgeon, you're probably not going to know much about how to do a liver transplant. It's two different areas of study. I'm not going to a liver transplant doctor to get my heart operating on. I'm not doing that, you know? So it's the same thing with broker price opinions. It's written precisely to help you answer those forms. That's all I can say. There are many courses out there on broker price opinions. I've only taken a couple, but none of them were written precisely to tell you how to answer those questions, except BPO Mastery. Okay? All right, guys, if there are any more questions, let me see your questions in the comment area. Don't forget, if you're new, like the page. If you're here after the fact, hashtag replay. And if it's something specific you want to answer me and you're not a mastery student, you can still meet me on Facebook Messenger. If you're in the group, you can meet me in the DM and I'll try to get your questions answered for you. Okay? All right, I'm not going to answer all of them. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you whether or not you need training. That's just what I do. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't be a very good coach. Okay? All right, guys, you all have an amazing week. Let's go get that money, okay? And if you are not in the Broker Price Opinion group on Facebook, it's a private group. You might need to join. That's where we learn. All right? All right, guys. Y'all have an amazing week. I'll see you on the next one.